guys, welcome to this week's literacy lesson. Now this week we're kind of looking at a mashup of everything. So the lessons won't necessarily link, but we'll be doing some really good practice with all the skills that we've been looking at. So for a starter today, I would like you to have a go at writing a super descriptive sentence about the scene below. How exciting can you make your sentence? Maybe you could use some adjectives in there to make it exciting, or you could even use some figurative language, which we've looked at too. So pause the video and see if you can do a really descriptive sentence about this scene. Right, I wonder what sentences you managed to come up with. I'm going to show you the sentence that I've come up with for this scene too. So my sentence says, the sun rays beamed on the green dewy grass while the butterflies danced in the gentle breeze. So in my sentence, I've used some adjectives and I've also used some personification as well to describe the butterflies dancing. So I hope you managed to make your sentence quite descriptive too. Right. Now, today we're going to be doing another read lesson. So our learning objective is going to be to read and understand a text. So as we know by now, our success criteria, these are the kind of things we're going to be looking at in today's lesson. We're going to be skimming and scanning for keywords. We're going to be finding evidence in the text. And some of us might challenge ourselves today by using a quote to support your answer. Now, today's text, we are looking at Victorian workhouses. So this is kind of like the place where Oliver Twist, the character from our story, he was at the beginning when he asked for more gruel. So I'm going to show you today's text. So this is today's text. Now have a think, just maybe have a pause and think what type of text it is. I'm going to scroll down and we've been looking at different genres and different types of text over the past couple of weeks. What type of text do you think it is? If we think back to what we did last week, we looked at play scripts. It doesn't look like a play script. Does it look like a diary entry that we've covered? Doesn't look like a diary entry. What type of text do you think it is? It's an information text. So a text that provides us with information on a certain thing. So in this case, that would be Victorian workhouses. We've got our title here, and then we've got our subheadings, which are about specific things or topics. Okay, so it's an information text. Great. Let's start off today by practicing our skimming and scanning skills. So let's have a game of fastest finger. So I'm going to show you a word and you're going to skim and scan with me, looking at the text and see if you can find that word. So are you ready? Let's go. The first word we're going to look for is unmarried. So I'm just going to put the text back up, skimming and scanning for the word unmarried. I found it. When I found it, I'm going to highlight it just here. Unmarried. Great. Good. It's really important to practice our skimming and scanning skills because it will help us when we come to answer the questions. Let's have a go at skimming and scanning for one more word. Next word is amount. So skimming and scanning for the word amount. I'm going to move it down a little bit. So skimming and scanning for the word amount. Have you found it yet? If you have, then well done. If not, a little bit more time. So the word amount was here. Great. Super, well done for practicing those really important skills. Right, we've had a go at fastest finger, getting our brains nice and warmed up, having a practice at finding keywords in the text. Now I have some true or false statements for you. So we look at the statement and then we pick some keywords that we're going to skim and scan for in the text. And then we decide if the statement is true or if the statement is false. So let's have a look at our first statement. So our first statement says workhouses are small buildings. So let's have a think on what word would be the most sensible to skim and scan for in this statement. What word do you think we should skim and scan for? I would say the word workhouses would be the best one to skim and scan for. So let's take a look back at the text. And we're skimming and scanning. Let's start from the top for the word workhouse and then see if we can spot our answer around our keyword. So I found obviously our keyword workhouse is here. So now I'm going to read around the keyword. Workhouses were large buildings where poor people who had no home or job lived. So if we go back to our statement, would this make it true or false? It would make it false because in the text it says workhouses were large buildings, not small buildings. So this would be false. Good. Whoops. Next statement. Our next statement says, it was thought to be shameful because it meant he could not look after his own family. Let's have a think about what words we can skim and scan for in this statement. Well, we could skim and scan for maybe the words shameful. That might be a key word that we find in there, especially if it's true. Maybe we could also skim and scan for the word family. So let's go back to our text. And let's skim and scan. So we're looking for shameful and we're looking for family. Oh, I found the word family here. So when I find my keyword, I would go back to the start of the sentence to see if the answer would be in there. So if we go back to the start of the sentence, if a man with a family had to enter a workhouse, his whole family had to go with him. Does that tell me the answer to my statement that it's thought of to be shameful? Not really. So sometimes we might have to try again and again. So it's not going to be that one. Let me keep skimming and scanning for the words family or shameful. Oh, I found the word shameful. And I've also found the words family. And if we start reading here, it was thought to be shameful because it meant he could not look after his own family and he could not get a job. So I recognize that from somewhere. So actually, this is exactly the same as our statement, right? It was thought of to be shameful because it was thought that he couldn't look after his family, which would make this true. And the last true or false statement that we're going to have a look at, girls were taught to cook. What words do you think we can skim and scan for in this statement? Have a think. We could skim and scan for the word girls, or we could skim and scan for the word cook. They could possibly help us find our answers. So let's go back to the text. So skimming and scanning for the word girls and the word cook. Just a quick thing I wanted to add. When we're doing information text, the subheadings can actually help us with finding our answer. So for example, we're trying to find if girls cooked. sometimes if we look at the subheadings, it tells us what that paragraph is going to be about. So for example, this one, what were workhouses? That paragraph is all about workhouses. So we most likely won't find if girls will cook in that paragraph. Whereas, for example, if we look at families in the workhouse, we're more likely to find our answer in that paragraph. So it might be an idea to skim and scan that paragraph first to see if our answer's in there. So let's begin. Right, so I found the word girls here. It says, girls were taught how to sew, as well as other skills that would help them become a maid when they left the workhouse at 14 years old. Now, our statement said girls were taught how to cook. Now, it's not exactly the same, but if we look carefully, it says, as well as other skills that would help them become a maid when they left the workhouse. So from that, actually, we can infer that girls were taught how to sew, they were taught how to cook, they were taught how to clean, all the things that maybe a maid would do the laundry, do the housework, do the cleaning, do the cooking. That's what girls were taught to do in the Victorian times. So it's about using our inference skills, really, and using the evidence in the text to answer these questions. So I would actually say that this one would be true, because although it doesn't exactly state it in the text, girls were taught to cook, it says that they were taught to sew, as well as lots of other skills which would help them become a maid. So we've used our inference skills to really answer this question, which is really good. Let's have a quick practice at quoting in our answer. This is where we take a specific bit from the text and put it in our answer using quotation marks. So our question here says, did children learn in workhouses? Now, let's have a think of what words we can skim and scan for in this question. We could skim and scan for maybe the word children, or I suppose we can skim and scan for the word learn. We could skim and scan for the word workhouses, but remember, this whole information text is about the workhouse, so that word might come up a couple of times. So let's go back to our text. We're skimming and scanning. So we're skimming and scanning for the word children. I found it here. It says children only spent a short amount of time each week with their parents. That doesn't give me my answer, so I'm going to delete that. Keep skimming and scanning. I found the word children here. Children had lessons in reading, writing, maths, and religion. So does that answer our question? Yes, it does, because children learn all of those subjects. So I'm trying to quote. So that means I need to take something out of the text and put it in quotation marks for a form of evidence. I'm going to say, did children learn in the workhouses? I'm going to rearrange the question to form a statement. Children did learn in the workhouses because the text says. This part is a really important part when you come to quote. It shows that you're going to be providing evidence because the text says. And then you will go in to use your quotation mark. So open quotation mark, and I'm going to write exactly what it says in the text. So it says children have lessons in reading, writing, maths, and religion. That's what I'm going to write. Children had lessons in reading, writing, maths, and religion. Closed quotation mark, because that's where I've stopped quoting, and then I'm going to put a full stop. Okay, so it's really important that in your quotation marks, you have written exactly what it says in the text because you're quoting from the text, so it needs to be the same. So this would be a top answer, the purple success criteria, because you have, well, you've skimmed and scanned, haven't you, for starters, and you've found your evidence and you've used a quote in your answer. So that would be a super, super answer. So we've had a little practice together. Now is your time to go and answer the read questions by yourself. I've put the read questions up here, so if you want to pause this video and crack on right now and do the questions, that's fine. Or I have also put the questions and the text on DB Primary, which might be a bit easier to see. So good luck answering the read questions today. It would be really, really impressive if all of you could have a go at maybe quoting in one of your answers today. That's your challenge, okay? I will see you tomorrow for another literacy lesson. Bye.